James Conner in the backfield on the right side of Big Ben. Motion by the tight end McDonald down the line left to right. And the snap goes high over the head of Big Ben all the way back to the 2 to the 1. And the Browns have it in the end zone. And they dive on the ball and recover it for a touchdown. Carl Joseph's got it in the end zone. A touchdown.
Not a bad start.
6-0 Browns. Marquise Pouncey just sailed the ball over the head of Big Ben, who looked at James Conner. They raced back towards inside the 5-yard line. It went into the end zone. B.J. Goodson and Carl Joseph were over there, and Joseph recovers it. Calling signals, takes the snap, gives it, Chubb runs, dips his shoulders, he's to the 40, 35, he's to the 30, cut back 25, he's to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Nick Chubb, he's over 1,000, and the Browns lead 6-0. James Conner in the backfield on the right side of Big Ben. Motion by the tight end McDonald down the line left to right. And the snap goes high over the head of Big Ben all the way back to the 2 to the 1. And the Browns have it in the end zone. And they dive on the ball and recover it for a touchdown. Carl Joseph's got it in the end zone. A touchdown.
Not a bad start.
6-0 Browns. Marquise Pouncey just sailed the ball over the head of Big Ben, who looked at James Conner. They raced back towards inside the 5-yard line. It went into the end zone. B.J. Goodson and Carl Joseph were over there, and Joseph recovers it. Calling signals, takes the snap, gives it, Chubb runs, dips his shoulders, he's to the 40, 35, he's to the 30, cut back 25, he's to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Nick Chubb, he's over 1,000, and the Browns lead 6-0. James Conner in the backfield on the right side of Big Ben. Motion by the tight end, McDonald down the line, left to right. And the snap goes high over the head of Big Ben, all the way back to the 2, to the 1, and the Browns have it in the end zone. And they dive on the ball and recover it for a touchdown. Carl Joseph's got it in the end zone. A touchdown.
Not a bad start.
6-0 Browns. Marquise Pouncey just sailed the ball over the head of Big Ben, who looked at James Conner. They raced back towards inside the 5-yard line. It went into the end zone. B.J. Goodson and Carl Joseph were over there, and Joseph recovers it.
All right, guys, we are live, ready to go. Welcome to this edition of Load the Box Browns. I am Chris Paxitas. That is Eric Mienko. Guys, please take it easy on me today. Kind of dealing with a headache and an earache today. So, I took some pain medicine earlier. It's just kind of one of them things where you just kind of got to deal with it. And, but hey, the show must go on. Am I right?
That's right.
Yeah. Show must go on. Not that big of a deal. I don't know if we're live or not.
No.
Hello?
No, we're not. I
We're
can
not-
hear you.
We're not live?
There we go. We're back.
What happened? That was weird.
We lost you.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, we are back. That was weird. Sorry about that, guys. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with my internet. I think I gotta upgrade my internet. Honestly, at this point.
We can move forward.
So yeah, with that being said, obviously we got some big news today. Deshaun Watson has officially been suspended. They have finally negotiated a suspension. But before we get into that, because first we want to talk about the preseason week 1 initially. But before we even get into that, I want to know how your week was, Miko. How was it?
It was very good. Very
Good.
On Friday, we had Angie's 30th birthday party,
Yep.
and that was a lot of fun. We had really good food, the Rusty Bucket, and then went to a place called the Frost Factory, where they do alcoholic slushies. That was very, very good. And then after that, went back to the hotel and played some games. Played I had never played it before, called Stir the Pot. That was a blast. And then we played the game. I can't remember what it was, but good time. The hotel was awesome. And then Saturday, got back home, hung out. Rest of the week's just business as normal.
There you go. There you go. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. And again, happy birthday, Mrs. Mienko, the Dirty 30. Welcome to the
30.
party. Welcome to the party. For me, my week, a lot of work. Had to get a new phone this week, so that was kind of fun. So I got, if anybody doesn't know, I've got the Z Flip 3. It's kind of cool. It just,
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
and I love it. I've had zero issues with it until recently. It did not want to charge when the phone was open, and it didn't want to charge wirelessly. It kept messing up on me. I'm like, what the hell? But I contacted Verizon, and it's under warranty, so they overnighted me a brand spanking new one. They're like, just send the old one back. I'm like, all right. And this one is great. My wife's phone works perfect because we have the same one. Hers has had zero issues. It's just, you make so many of these, every once in a while you're going to get a dud. It's just like any Apple phone. Eventually one iPhone is going to go bad. So I don't hold it against Samsung, but it's just been kind of annoying. And
Yeah, for sure.
I use my phone for work quite a bit. Cause like that's like my lifeline when I'm out in the field. So
Right.
so it is what it is. All right, but again, we're gonna talk about the Watson thing eventually, but we do want to talk about the preseason game first and foremost. Your Cleveland Browns were victorious against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 24-13. Run by a couple of things. Josh Dobbs had himself a great game. Went 10 of 13, 108 yards and a touchdown. Chosen Rosen went 6 of 7 for 56 yards. And Deshaun Watson went 1 of 5 for 7 yards. As far as the rushing attack, there wasn't a whole lot in the rushing game except for Jerome Ford. He had himself a pretty good game. He had 10 carries, 57 yards, and a touchdown.
He looked good.
He looked very good. Makes me feel like that it makes me feel like D'Ernest Johnson might be gone from this team in some form or fashion if he keeps playing the way he does, or
they trade Kareem Hunt.
Exactly. I think we knew that when Jerome Ford was drafted, that one of those two guys, possibly even both, the writing was going to be on the wall for him.
Right.
And with Kareem requesting a trade, you could tell it's not, and I don't think he wants to leave the Browns. I think he just wants a new deal.
He wants money. He already said that. He wants to retire a Brown. He said that.
Yeah. And I'm never going to fault a player for trying to get more money, especially in a sport like this. You don't have long to play.
And also being a running back.
Exactly. So you get your money out
even
there.
Less time.
He's a starting running back on nearly any team in the NFL.
At least 15.
Yeah. And you could even say that about D'Ernest Johnson too. He's got starting. Yeah. He's a starting caliber player.
Yes.
When he's got his chances, he's done well, except for this preseason game. He had 3 rushes for 0 yards and a fumble. But
that fumble was rough.
Yeah, it was rough. As far as the receiving game, your leading receiver coincidentally was Jerome Ford as well, who also had a touchdown there. Not a whole lot to really look at as far as the receiving game. Bunch of no names, caught a bunch of passes.
What was Anthony Schwartz's stat line there?
He's not even on there.
Yeah, well, he had 2 targets and 2 drops.
There you go. Exactly. Looking like Greg Little out there. My God, Stonehand Schwartz.
I really hope that the catch he made on Sunday when they got back during camp was a precursor into what his year will be and not this preseason game. Hopefully it was jitters.
Yep.
But if it wasn't, that is not a good sign for him.
And honestly, go ahead.
I do not want him, because as a Reds fan, I remember this very well. I do not want him to turn out to be a Billy Hamilton type player. Billy Hamilton was great at speed. He couldn't hit very well, but man, if he got on base, it was great. He could play some defense, but couldn't play great defense. So I do not want Schwartz to be, okay, this guy is extremely fast, but you have to somehow get him in a reverse, in some kind of sweep or a jet pass or something along those lines where he can't actually run the routes. Yep. He's a gimmick player. I don't want him to be that. And I don't think he is. I think he can catch the ball, but he has to work on it, which all
he's
signs
just got to do it. He just got to do it.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. But this is the time to put it together.
Yeah.
Enough is enough. Come on, please catch a damn football. Right. But you said a word that I felt like perfectly described how that offense was. Now, let me say this first. Number 1, it's just a preseason game.
Sure.
Number 2, there were only a couple of starters out there. Only a couple.
There was quite a few.
On offense?
Yeah.
I mean, we had DPJ out there, Njoku.
Yeah.
And
Most of
Watson.
the offensive line.
Not all the offensive line was. What?
I said most.
Okay. Okay. Well, again, I'm still gonna say it's preseason. Let's not overreact.
Sure.
But you said the word jitters, and that's what I took from the quote unquote first team offense. Jitters. Yeah. Especially Watson. His first play, yeah, he overthrew. I can't remember who the receiver was.
I think it was DPJ.
Yeah, he overthrew him, and you could tell, he's got to knock the rust off a little bit. And that'll come back with time. Obviously, Watson has shown himself to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. There's a reason why the Browns gave up what they did, and there's a reason why other teams were willing to give up what the Browns gave up and sign him to the contract that the Browns signed him to.
Right.
There's a reason for it. Let's not act like the Browns were the only team in the NFL that was willing to do this.
Right.
So let's make that abundantly clear that the Browns were not the only team in the NFL that wanted him on their team. But it seemed like he started to kind of come into it a little bit, but then everybody got a case of the dropsies, aka Schwartz. So, but I think now that first preseason game is out, I think things will be a little bit better come week 2. Hopefully, we'll see.
Well, we won't see Watson.
No, that
Stefanski said he's done for the preseason.
Yep. I'm talking about
next time we see him on the field will be against Houston, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, I'm talking about the rest of the team. I'm talking about the team as a whole, not just Watson, because I think
but the offense goes as the quarterback goes.
Yeah.
No. If he's not playing well, then they're playing well. That's why I was just stating that Stefanski already came out and said he's not playing the rest of the preseason.
Yeah, and it's a good move. It's a good move. No reason.
I disagree 100%.
Really?
100% disagree.
Okay.
Why would you not play a quarterback that you know is going to be out for an extended period of time to try and get rust knocked off of him, get him live bullet reps? Yeah, you could say, well, we don't want to injure him. What has he done for the last year and now for the next 11 weeks?
Maybe they
practice against his own teammates. They don't care. They're not going to hurt him.
Maybe they feel that he was able to knock the rust off enough in that game, and that was it. I don't know.
Unconvincing to me.
I understand where you're coming from. I get that, but I also think they want to make sure that Jacoby Brissett has enough game time to get him ready to play these first 11 games.
Yeah.
So I think the focus just goes, okay, we know it's not going to take much to get Watson ready against Houston. Let's focus our efforts to get Jacoby Brissett ready to play these first 11 games.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that's what the mindset is.
Sure.
I'd like to think that, but I've been wrong before, man, and I'll be wrong again. Always have, always will be.
I want to mention before we get over to the Watson news, the rookies looked really good.
Thank you. I was going to say something. Yes.
Pick by Emerson was remarkable.
If you guys didn't,
he is big man. That man.
If you guys didn't see it, it almost looked like he literally just, as soon as the ball hit the wide receiver's hands, Martin Emerson, he pretty much literally took it out of the wide receiver's hands.
Yes.
And took it back for a touchdown. It was amazing. It was great.
Exactly what he did.
Yeah.
He literally bumped into the receiver after he hit it. The ball went up off the receiver's chest, literally like this much.
Yeah.
He grabbed it from his arms, ripped it, and took off and scored a touchdown.
Yep.
Perrion Winfrey had a sack.
Yep.
Some of the younger guys had, at least Isaac Crochell. He had a sack.
Yes, he did.
What's his nuts? Richard LeCount had a pretty big play in the fourth quarter. I mean, they all all your young or rookie guys contributed. That's what he wanted to see. And I didn't really pay much attention to him beforehand, but last week I was listening to CBD, and Nathan Zaguro was, riding pretty high on D'Anthony Bell. And I didn't think, didn't even really know who he was. I thought he was just a camp guy. And sure enough, 2 plays he made that were really big plays in that game against Jacksonville.
Yep.
So that's another player that, caught my eye and obviously caught the eye of others. So it's, younger, not as known players making plays is exactly what the preseason's for.
Yep. Also it was nice to see Tommy Togiai get out there and get some action. Yeah. He's a guy that it's going to be they're definitely going to be relying on him. Yeah. This is his chance. He really didn't play last year. He got a couple of reps in a couple of games. That's about it. So this is his chance this year to not only make this team but make an impact. Yeah. So it's nice to see a guy like that get in there. I couldn't have said it any better. Really, the rookies shined in this preseason game, and it was very good to see.
Did you see the Denzel news that came out from the game? About Martin Emerson.
Oh yeah. Denzel Ward paid him what, $400 for that interception.
He offered the whole defense $400 for a turnover. Mm-hmm. And Martin Emerson got the pick 6, so he got a turnover. He got the $400.
That's
He said, "Pay me. Put that money in my hand."
Yep. Hey, you know what? We take those. Absolutely. That was good to see. That was good to see that happened. Absolutely. So, I can't wait to see him in the regular season. Can't wait to see how Martin Emerson kind of comes together. But your Brownies are taking on the Chicago Bears on, no, I'm sorry. Not the Chicago Bears. I'm losing my mind. Like I said, this headache's messing with me, so I apologize. Playing the Eagles Sunday at 1 p.m. I don't like these preseason games on Sundays at 1 p.m. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like them one bit. I think it's dumb.
I can understand it.
I don't know. Not a big fan of it, but whatever, I guess.
Right.
So let's go ahead. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and let's move on. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'm never wrong. Ask my wife.
Wow. Okay. Bold statement. Bold statement. One thing. If I'm Andrew Berry, if I'm Andrew Berry, I would call J.C. Treader and get his ass back in the building. Your Brownies are down 2 centers. Obviously, Nick Harris went out, tore his ACL. Second play of the fucking preseason. Second play. I couldn't believe it. I literally, while I was watching, my hands went up like this. And I'm like, oh my God. Then just kind of hid my head. Like, my wife was still working at the times, and she works from home. So I had to be quiet.
Right.
But man, it's very hard to be quiet watching that unfold. And then I even said right then and there, okay, call up JC Treader. Let's get him back in the building. And that was before Dawson Deaton went down.
Yeah.
And then Dawson went down, and he tore his ACL. He's out for the year.
Yep.
So that's what we're dealing with. My God. One of the things I told you that I was looking for when it came to this preseason is I wanted to come out healthy, and sure as shit, we're hurting.
Yeah,
I mean, we got Ethan Posick, our Yeah, is that how you pronounce it? I'm pretty sure.
I Pochich or Posich, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
something. I mean, he started for Seattle. He is a starting caliber center, but I still don't feel comfortable with it. I don't know about you, but I don't feel comfortable
Yeah,
with it right
I'm
now.
not too. I mean, he's a serviceable center, so I'm not too concerned about it. Um, but overall, I would much rather have JC.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so would I. So that is that's fairly concerning in my mind. I just had to bring that up because that is very, 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 very upsetting. All right, let's move on. Hopefully, let's go ahead and let's talk about Deshaun Watson. Obviously, we know he's been suspended, 11 games, fined $5 million. That was the NFLPA and in the NFL, they both agreed to a settlement. This was a settlement number one. So we didn't even get to hear from the attorney general dude. We didn't even get to hear from him. They settled, whatever. Listen, as a Browns fan, obviously it sucks. Like, the fan side of me says this sucks.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just glad it's over and done with. I'm glad we know. I'm tired. I don't want to talk about, like, again, whether he was innocent or not, because we don't know. The only people that know are the women and Deshaun Watson. That's the only people that know whether or not he's innocent, and I'm not going to comment or speculate on it because, like I said, I don't know. What I do know is that he's gone for the first 11 games. That's what I do know. So here we are. We're going to have to deal with it. How are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm relieved that it's over.
Yep.
In my opinion, I would have loved to see him get maybe 8 games and then have to pay back $15 million and then all go to charity.
Yep.
But that's not what happened. That's not what they decided on.
Yep.
It is what it is. I mean, I'm just glad that it's no longer looming over our heads. What's going to come next? What's going to happen next? I'm just so relieved that it's over. Do I agree with the suspension? Whatever they decided. You know, do I, like you said, do I think that he's innocent or guilty? He doesn't. I am just glad that we know what his fate now is. We know what the decision is. We can, as fans, move forward, and kind of see how this team turns out. But all I know is that we ride with 7. So.
Yep. No, you're exactly right. And the good thing about this is that it's not like we have like a bad quarterback that we're relying on. Right now, I pulled up Jacoby Brissett's stats as a starting quarterback for the Colts and for the few games that he played for the Dolphins. So, in 2017 was his first year starting with the Colts when he got traded. I think it was like right at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Because, he did play 2 games with the Pats in 2016. He started 2 games for him. Didn't really do much. No touchdowns or interceptions. He did rush for a touchdown. But in 2017, he threw for just under 3,100 yards, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And then 2019, he started for him as well and passed for just under 3,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. For the Dolphins last year, he passed for just over 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The positive that I see is that he's throwing for more touchdowns than interceptions. Mm-hmm. He's obviously he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I think he's got an underrated arm as well. He's got the deep ball. I like it. I like his arm personally. He's a big dude too. Real big and stocky. And when he gets moving, he gets going. I mean, he's one of those guys that I think his elusiveness is a little underrated as well. But obviously, I mean, we know what we have in him. He's he's a serviceable guy. I'm not saying that he is a starting quarterback for every team in this league. No, he's not. There's a reason why he is in the situation that he's in. But I'd much rather be starting Jacoby Brissett compared to Josh Rosen or Case Keenum or Josh Dobbs. No offense to Dobbs, Josh Johnson. Good God, that man's been around the block.
He's touched every team in the league.
Honestly, I mean that I kind of, if I was him, I would kind of want to do that just to say
he's trying to beat Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he's been around the block too. That him and Josh McCown.
Yeah.
Josh
McCown, by the way, very very nice guy. Met him in person at the combine.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
He was staying with his 2 sons, and we took pictures with him. Super nice guy.
You know, he was not the best quarterback for the Browns, but he will always have my respect. I will say that 100%. I will always respect Josh McCown.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure that was said. Anyway, so I like Brissett's numbers. I do. He said, and you got to think that those 2 years that he started for the Colts, they didn't have a very good team.
No.
Their offensive line was trash. The only good receiver he had was T.Y. Hilton.
Who at the time couldn't stay healthy all the way.
Exactly. So it'd be kind of nice to see what he has with the team that has the best running backs in the NFL, the best running back room in the NFL, and a decent wide receiving core. I mean, obviously we know we have an Amari Cooper. DPJ's got to take a step this year. David Njoku's a good tight end.
Right.
So we'll see. But I said it once before, we are going to rely heavily on this running game, and I feel like you have to.
Yeah. And one thing I want to do before we get into the schedule game, which I know we're saying, is I wanted to kind of get your thoughts and also give my thoughts on the interview today. Both the Haslams and Watson both spoke to you. And I guess I'll give my takeaways and then kind of you can give your takeaways after that. So what I did was I took my notes and I wrote them down individually. Watson, Haslam / AB. The one thing I don't know. The one thing I thought was kind of weird is he kind of seemed almost cocky. Watson did when he was up there talking, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Also, at the same time, my notes state he said, "I have to stand on my pride and step aside when it came to settling." So it's like, okay, stand on my pride. Okay, do you mean that as in innocent and you should have never settled? What does that mean? And then someone asked him, was this whole thing about moving? Pretty much said yes. So it's like he took no accountability for what he did wrong or any wrongdoing he did. And again, maintained his innocence, as he said, from the very beginning. He said the other thing that was really alarming to me was that they asked him, do you think there's going to be any more mishaps or accusations moving forward? And he pretty much said, I can't say. That is extremely alarming to me.
What I think what he meant by that, I will say that, is that he can't control what other people say. Obviously he should have worded that a little bit better.
Yeah, I think saying, I can't control if other people believe that if what other people may take action upon or what people do, but I don't believe there should be anything else that comes from this.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. That could have and should have been worded a little bit better.
Yeah.
I do believe that's what he meant, but at this point in time, I am just speculating.
Yeah. Why don't you give your thoughts on if you saw his presser, and then we'll go to the Haslam because I have a lot of theirs.
Yeah. So with Watson's, the reporters were kind of having a field day with him, it seemed like, because, but just before the preseason game last Friday, he did apologize for everything. And then it kind of makes people wonder, like, why are you apologizing? What did you do wrong? And obviously he's not going to get into what he did wrong. because
Right.
he has stated that he is innocent. I'd like to think it was maybe I guess when I say I'm just going to go off of the assumption that he is innocent in this, that he did not sexually assault anyone. I'm not saying that is verbatim set in stone. I'm just going off of, what he said. I feel like he would be apologizing for the situations that he put himself into, and it caused, emotional harm or whatever to
That's pretty much what he said.
the other people. But yeah, today he definitely maintained his innocence in the press conference. But one thing I do know is that I am glad that he is in therapy. That was confirmed as again that he is in therapy, which is great. I think you need this after that, whether he's innocent or guilty. I feel like that's a vital resource that you would need to get through something like this. So I'm glad to see him in therapy for this. I just hope that if he is guilty, number one, I hope he never does anything like this again. That's not coming from a Browns fan perspective. That's coming from a human being perspective. You don't want anybody to go through anything like this. You don't, I mean, we are both parents of daughters, we don't, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I know if something like that happened to my daughter, I know how I'd react.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be great. Let me tell you that. It wouldn't be great, and that person probably wouldn't be living. So we'll just leave it at that. So obviously we never want that to happen. So if he is guilty, if he's getting the help that he needs to make sure it doesn't ever happen again, then that's great. If he is innocent, then maybe therapy will help him not put himself in a situation like this. Because a lot of the evidence was kind of damning. It's kind of weird. Having all those different massage therapists, it's a little weird. That ain't right. And again, I mean, I have my personal views on what I think happened, but I'm not going to get into that right now because I said there's no reason to. It'd just be speculating at this point, and I no reason to speculate and all that. But I did get the cocky vibe from him. Now that you say that, I kind of see where you're coming from. It did seem a little cocky. Mm-hmm. He also seemed a little relieved to know that he now knows how many games he's going to be missing.
Right.
So, it is good to hear that the $5 million is going to charity. That is good to know. I know most NFL fines go to charity anyway. From what I understand, but
hopefully,
I thought I read that somewhere. I don't know.
I don't know.
But at least we know, we guarantee this is going to charity, so that's right. Good. Yeah, the reporters did have a field day with him. You can tell Watson does not like talking to the reporters about this situation. He does not like talking to them, and also I think we know that the Cleveland media, they're kind of like sharks in a water when there's a drop of blood.
That's any media.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just mainly, I guess I'm talking about Tony Grossi.
That's just his MO.
Yeah, Tony Grossi's a dick. But whatever. So that's kind of how I felt about Watson's press conference. It was kind of awkward, kind of weird, but a lot of it was kind of vague, but he did seem relieved to know that it's over. Sure. So what are your feelings on Watson's presser?
So I obviously already gave mine.
Oh yeah,
so
sorry.
We can move over to the Haslam's.
Losing my mind. There. Yes, this one's weird. The Haslam's and Andrew Berry. That one was that was a doozy of a press conference.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and give my thoughts, and then you can give yours after.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So my first thought was right off the bat, Jimmy said that they won't comment on Sue Robinson or Roger Goodell's words, like right off the bat. And I mean, I guess I understand it to a degree.
Yeah.
But at the same time, somebody asked him specifically about the words that Sue Robinson wrote, which, but the predatory and the egregious behavior. And he snapped at him and said, I already said comment on it. And it's like, I think you need to say something, whether it's defending him or whatever it may be. If you did such an extensive research job on it, I would think you would be able to comment at least something. And maybe it's just saving their butts. Because if they open their mouth too much, maybe it would be bad for them and the people could sue the Browns.
I think that's
know.
exactly what it was, because you don't want to sit there and say, "Oh, we don't believe that at all," and then that makes him look bad in that case, especially if he comes out that he is guilty of this,
right?
Or be like, "Oh yeah, we agree with what Sue Robinson said." Oh, if you agree with it, then why would you go after a guy like that?
Right. Yeah.
So that's a lose-lose situation with that question. So I think he did the right thing by saying we're not going to comment on that.
Yeah, I guess I can see it now, but I just still at the same time,
it's weird.
Wish they would have said something.
You're right, and the thing is, they're going to get drilled on this, and rightfully so. You put yourself in this situation, you're going to get drilled for it.
They deserve every little bit of criticism that they get.
Exactly.
My next takeaway was that AB looked lost, and I said maybe it's because he was standing next to the Haslams, but he looked completely lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jimmy looked so disinterested. He looked like I really don't care. He looked like Marshawn Lynch up there. I'm just here so I won't get fined. That's what he looked like up there, and that was very disappointing to see. And D, it felt like any time that she chimed in, it was a lot of times off subject. So she chimed in later on in the interview about how, we need to stop talking about Deshaun and we need to focus on what we need to do as American people in the country and all this and that. And it's like, that wasn't the question. And when she brought it back again, we just need to stop talking about Deshaun and we're just trying to educate people on what they can do in the future. And it's like, again, that wasn't the question. It was pure deflection, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Also, the other troubling thing was that it seemed like, well, I should say this. D had a quote. They asked specifically if they thought that he was innocent. And D's quote was, "I believe in counseling. Deshaun will grow a lot and will grow to learn a lot more about himself." But she would not say that they believed he was innocent at all.
Because nothing good comes from answering that question, honestly.
I understand, but at the same time, it as a Browns fan, every time they open their mouth, I don't feel better about being a Browns fan. In fact, both times they have commented on this situation, I have come out feeling worse about being a Browns fan, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
The other big piece that was super alarming to me was Jimmy Haslam's rant about him needing a second chance. And then he said something about, well, if it was Joe Schmo, of course he wouldn't be getting a chance to be a quarterback in the NFL because he wouldn't be in the headlines all the time or something like that. I was like, you just compared him to, basically said if he wasn't a good quarterback, we wouldn't have touched him.
He said what everybody knows, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, like it wasn't necessary. It didn't make me feel better as a Browns fan.
Yeah.
The other piece was then when he compared it to Kareem Hunt. Like, you're talking about one incident versus 20.
Yeah.
That's not apples to apples. This is not one incident. You can't. No, I'm not. Sorry, that one didn't.
Kareem Hunt's was even like a little. I don't want to call it justified, because to remind everybody, from what I understand, from what we believe happened with Kareem when he kicked that woman, believe that she called him the N-word, and he responded. Listen, I'm not an African American, so I'm never gonna know what that word feels like. But I'm just saying, if I was and I heard something like that, it would be hard not to respond like that, because I almost feel like that if somebody said that word, especially with anger, to one of my friends who's African American, and I also have anger issues. I think everybody fucking knows that by now.
Yeah, I do.
But like, if somebody said that to a friend of mine who's African American and they said it with anger towards them, I feel like that would be my response right now, was it's just immediate kick or a right hook to. I'm not saying that's right or wrong,
Right.
but that's why I can agree with you with saying like you can't compare these two, and you cannot compare these two.
I agree, and Ange said the same thing. My wife was in the chat. She says
Yes, she is.
I was like with the eyes emojis whenever he mentioned
Look at
Hunt.
my
That's
eyes
exactly
right
what
here.
I did. I was like, why did you bring that up?
Yeah.
Like, and then on top of that, the other piece that made no sense to me is this man just requested a trade, so you know he's unhappy with his current pay situation. And then the owner of the team brought him up whenever you mentioned someone who's been accused of sexual misconduct with 24. So you're comparing me to someone who's considered to have predatory behavior. Do you see the problem in that? Like, do you understand why I'd be upset? Why I wouldn't stay here?
Not only that. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
It was a clear of insert foot here.
Yeah.
Put his foot in his mouth.
Not only that, but it's like Kareem, like, to be honest with you, we don't really talk about Kareem Hunt's situation and what he did a while ago. We don't really talk about that because it's over. It's in the past. No sense constantly bringing it up. You just kind of brought that to the forefront again.
Yep.
You've reminded people what he's done. And that's something that he has been trying to move on and move past. And I feel like he's done a pretty good job of that.
I mean, he's done everything he can to try to repair his image.
Yeah.
And now you've asked for that can of worms to be opened. Fine. But you've asked for that can of worms to be opened back up. I do have one more thought on this. So it was the last bit of it when they asked Andrew Berry about Stefanski, and then also about Jacoby Brissett. So he said, basically, we have a lot of faith in Jacoby, what we've seen on the field, on and off. But he would not say if they would go outside to look for other options, which I guess makes sense. That's always the option, is to improve the team. But it was kind of keeps the door open for all those Jimmy G fans that are trade for him. And then the last piece was they straight up admitted that they put a lot on Stefanski's plate, which is the case. You know, did he sign up for this? No. You know, is he happy with the fact that, you know, Watson's there? Probably. But overall, do I think that this has been a lot put on him, and where it should have been, you know, a lot more on their plate? They should have stayed out in front of this. They should have did everything they could to remain up front, and it just seems like it all fell on Stefanski. Which is, I just don't think it's right. And then real quick before I get to your thoughts, Ange said that she felt like he scab that was healed, and that he needs to think before he speaks. And it's 1,000% correct.
I completely
agree with her. Same way with
her.
The first interview too.
Yeah, I completely agree with Angie with what she said. So to me, I can kind of agree with how you felt about Andrew Berry. He did look a little lost up there, but I don't think he's comfortable with taking the heat that he has been taking, because he has had a lot of success as a GM for the Cleveland Browns. So I don't think he's used to taking the kind of heat that he has been that he has been taking with this situation. Maybe it's something he's just got to get used to. I don't know. You got to, but that maybe that's the case. Jimmy Haslam looked pissed to me. He looked like a pissed off guy, and D is a crazy woman. And when I say that, is because this woman was wearing long sleeves on an August day, hot as hell in Cleveland. This woman is crazy. Okay,
but Jimmy is also wearing dress pants and long sleeve dress shirt.
Who the fuck wears a jacket? No, this woman wore a jacket. I'm sorry, not just long sleeves. This woman wore a jacket.
Yeah.
Does she got a cold? If she has a cold, then maybe she needs to stay inside. Yeah, Jimmy was wearing long sleeves. I really, and dress pants. Yeah, but Jimmy was looking the part of an owner. He wasn't wearing like a suit and tie or anything. He had a nice button-up long sleeve shirt. And that's not to say D looked bad, because no, D looked great. But dude, wearing a jacket, that's on an August day in Cleveland, that's I think we both know, man, Cleveland gets hot. I know we like to talk about Cleveland getting cold during the winter. That's the thing about Cleveland. When it's winter, it is freezing. But in the summer, man, it is hot.
Well, I can just tell you this. With the heat we experienced 2 weekends ago at training camp, I'm good. I did not want to be in that heat any longer.
There you go. Exactly. So, if anything, that shows me D Haslam can take the heat and take the pressure. When she chooses to wear a jacket outside.
You're really concerned about that jacket.
Dude, that's the first thing that I saw. And I was like, this woman is nuts.
Right.
But that also tells me she can stand the heat. So good on her. She also did not look happy, though. No. She did not look very happy about being there. She didn't look like she was happy to answer any of those questions.
Right.
And the same goes for Jimmy as well.
Yeah, he just looked disinterested.
Yeah.
Which was pretty disappointing to see. Like, it's a big deal, man. You should have answered the questions.
Yeah.
You should,
that's the thing. They deserve to get drilled like this. When you put yourself in this situation, and I'm not talking about, and this goes for any team that went after Watson, that could have gotten him, like the Saints or the Falcons. They would have to be answering the exact same questions that they're answering right now. So anyone who puts themselves in this situation, you got to be able to sit there and take it. I will say that I am glad that they did that, but you can also tell that they're tired of talking about it. You said it best, because D even tried to get off of the talk about Watson and move on to other things. But sometimes you just kind of got to take it on the chin. Like, you put yourself in this situation, you traded away your starting quarterback that you drafted number 1 overall to get this guy. So take the heat, take the heat.
And I also think how emphatic Jimmy was whenever he was talking about, would you do it again? He's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Oh man, that's just a bad response.
Not me. No, I don't think that's a bad response at all. Because if he says no, we wouldn't do it again, then that just shows, oh, you've lost trust in your starting quarterback. Well, your franchise quarterback, I should say that.
Right.
Because let's call a spade here. The Browns have their quarterback for the next 10 years. Knock on wood, hopefully. We don't have to go through another quarterback carousel for the next 20 fucking years. Sorry, now I'm getting fired up.
But at the same time, you could easily just said, yes, we would do the same thing over. Not the way that he said it. It was, yes, absolutely. And it was with attitude, too. It wasn't like just straight up, yes, we would do this again. It was, yes, absolutely.
Maybe it's to show Watson that they do support him. I guess that's, I don't really have a problem with that per se. Personally, I don't really have an issue with that. But because like you made your bed, lie in it, and it's not a good look to go back. It is not a good look to try to go back on that. So I'm okay with that. So
do the schedule game.
Yeah, first off, I do want to say this right before we do that, to kind of take a page from D Haslam. I do want to talk about what happened today. Other than that news, the Browns did have a joint practice with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
Couple of things. Myles Garrett's absence was finally explained. He's got a family member who is gravely ill, and the condition worsened, and that's why he had been gone for a couple of days. to kind of, and family first.
Right. Oh, yeah,
You and I
absolutely.
believe that, especially it's training camp, like do your thing.
Yeah.
Denzel Ward got upgraded to do some team drills again. So that's
Good.
good
huge.
to see the Warden back. That's good. David Bell didn't have a good day today. He had a couple of dropsies and a false start. So that's not great. Martin Emerson looks good. He covered Devonta Smith really well, but that's not
Good.
saying much because Devonta Smith did not have a good year last year at all, and he's
Yeah,
looking.
you didn't have a bad year.
Are we thinking of the same guy?
I'm pretty sure we are.
I seem to remember
Not stupid.
he was their first round pick last year, their wide receiver, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, he's still 916 yards.
Okay, my bad.
You're thinking of Jalen Reagor.
I am.
Correct. Yeah.
My bad.
Devonta Smith was a Heisman Trophy winner.
Everybody
from Alabama.
Everybody, chill the fuck out. My bad.
I was just
my bad.
I was just like, what the heck?
I
are you talking about, dude?
Sir, you need to calm down.
I hear
Take
you.
a deep breath. Calm down. Okay.
Yep.
My fault. Okay. Well, then that proves that Martin Emerson is definitely looking the part. Then when he's locking up a receiver like that, Sione Taki blew up multiple plays, so that's what we like to see. Jed looked good on some one-on-one drills. He made a couple of the Eagles defenders look stupid. So Jerome Ford, I don't know, did you see his juke that he had earlier? Oh, he juked a Eagle right out of his cleats.
Love that.
Oh yeah, you gotta love that. And then, and also one thing that they did say, they were also this has been a trend. It's a trend every year, but it seems notably bigger this year. Lots of fights going on, lots of training camp fights with these joint practices.
That's common though.
It seems like it's more and more like was it the Pats and I can't in Carolina, man, there was a couple of them that were
the Pats were at the Jets, I believe.
Why would they be practicing with their divisional
I remember
opponent?
them talking about maybe the Pats and Giants then.
I'm telling you, it was Carolina.
Was it?
I'm nearly positive. Like 95% sure it was Carolina. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
We don't have enough money for a guy to just look that up on. So actually, we have no money to do that.
You are correct.
Let's go. Ed, chalk that one up. Man, if I
every once in a while.
If I got shit right like that last year, I wouldn't have done the one chip challenge.
Yeah, but that was great.
No, it wasn't. It was fucking awful, man.
I would love to see you do that again. That was
not
fantastic.
Me. That's why I'm not making that bet again, because I don't want to deal with that shit, man. It was awful.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, both teams made it a point to quote unquote keep things clean. They weren't there to fight, they were there to practice. There was a little bit of pushing and shoving. That is natural. It will happen.
Oh, yeah.
But they know there were no fights. That's good to see, because when you have fights like that, that's a good chance for injuries to happen. So I just wanted to say that. So that was good for me. I was glad to see that. So that's our kind of the takeaways from the joint practice with the Philadelphia Eagles. Going to the schedule, Mienko, this is something you really wanted to talk about. I know Jordan and I went through everything from week 1 to week 6, or the 6th game, and I pretty much said worst case scenario, Browns are going to go 3-3 through those first 6 games.
We both agree it'd be 4-2.
Yeah. So we can
skip right to the Ravens if you want.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't think the Ravens are as good as a football team as they were. Yeah. I don't think they're as good as they were when Lamar Jackson won MVP.
No, I agree with that.
I don't think they're that team anymore. I still get worried about Lamar Jackson, because maybe he's not the best quarterback, but my God, the dude is a playmaker.
Yes.
And those divisional games are always tough.
Yep.
They are very tough games. October 23rd, don't be shocked if the Browns drop that game. Don't be shocked at all. I'm going to go ahead. I'll probably chalk that one up as a loss right now, just because you never know.
Yeah, I think if this game, kind of like the Pittsburgh game, I think if this game was probably 3 weeks earlier, I would feel a lot better about it.
Mm-hmm.
But J.K. Dobbins should be back around 1. So if it was week 3, I'd feel better about him that injury and not being 100%, but he'll be 100%. So you have him. You still have Mark Andrews, tight end, and that defense. And they just activated Mark Peterson. He'll be back too. So that team's really tough. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that brings us to. So then we have
your mic keeps cutting in and out.
Let me just hang on.
Sorry guys, technical difficulties. I mean, you know how it is.
What about now? Happen. Is it better now?
Oh yeah, perfect. Okay. Perfect.
So I think I agree with you. I think we lose that game. So it takes us. So then we have the Bengals game.
And that's that game that's that game that gives me goosebumps, because it's Monday Night Football on October 31st, Halloween. The game that I'm happy about and upset about, because I'm gonna be trick or treating with my daughter while this is going down.
Not 8:15.
Trick or treat. I mean, we'll be wrapping up right about that time.
Yeah, and I'll be sitting down in the basement.
But still, I want to be home. That's all I'm hoping, like around here, because it is the Bengals playing. I'm hoping most of the towns are just like, you know what? We're going to move trick or treat to Sunday night.
Sunday, that'd be great.
Man, if they did that would, oh my God, I would be so for that.
I'd go to a different city just to say, hey kids, we went trick or treating.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, this game, I think, and maybe this is my bias in me.
I'm going to agree with you already.
I really think we can win this game.
I agree.
But it all depends on the health of Nicholas Jamal Chubb. If Nick Chubb is 100% healthy and Myles Garrett's 100% healthy, I'm saying we win.
Yeah, I agree.
If they're not, I think that could be rough.
Yep. I don't know if this Bengals team is going to have a Super Bowl hangover like a lot of Super Bowl losing teams have. Yeah. I don't know that they're going to have that, because they did reload. They did revamp that offensive line, especially getting La'el Collins. That is
the right side of the line.
That is huge for the Bengals. And that cannot be overstated. That is a huge pickup for them. It's just the Browns have had their number.
Yeah.
They said Joe Burrow has never beat the Browns. And I really hope that it doesn't start this year.
Right. Absolutely.
But I think because it's a primetime game in Cleveland, that's more, you know how the energy is on those primetime games, man. Anything can happen, and it's a divisional game. So I'm not going to write off the Browns. I know the Bengals will probably be favorites in that game.
Oh yeah.
And that's fine. The Browns are used to being underdogs. Even Joel Bitonio said it best. Now more than ever, it's the Browns against the world. And you know what? That's how it always has been. I'm okay with that.
Right.
But yes, I think this is definitely a winnable game for the Browns. Moving on to November
5-3.
Yeah. Let me see here. I'm going to bring up the calendar because I don't know when the Okay. That's a bye week. That is a bye week after that game. That's what I thought. Next game, November 13th, Browns and Dolphins in Miami. That's a very winnable game.
Yeah.
I see the Browns winning that game 100%. So that brings us 6-3?
6-3.
Wait, did we count the Ravens as a loss?
We count it as a win. No, as a loss.
Okay, yeah, so we said 4-2. Then we count the Ravens. Okay. Ravens game is a loss.
4-3. Yeah, 5-3 at the Bengals. Now 6-3 at the Dolphins.
6-3. Okay. Yeah, do you want to talk more about the Dolphins game, or you
Nope,
just
I agree with you.
okay?
It's a very winnable game.
Yes, 100%. After that brings us to Browns at Buffalo. More than likely, that's probably going to be
6-4.
yeah.
I'm done commenting on that.
Buffalo
That's
Bills team
6-4.
is a good team. Good team.
Yeah, yeah. If Josh Allen is healthy, that's just dangerous. By the way, before I forget,
Yeah.
condolences to the Dawson Knox. I don't know if you saw it, but he has
Yes.
a
Yes.
brother, and he
Yeah.
passed away yesterday, which is
Yes.
crazy to
Yeah.
see. So
I saw that.
shout out to his family. My condolences.
Yes.
Next, moving on is game at home against the GOAT. I think that's pretty easy to say they're going to lose. So brings them to 6-5.
Yep. Which brings us to
return.
Browns at Texans.
That's a good game,
Watson,
man.
that is going to be game of the week. Don't be shocked if that gets flexed to a 4:00 game with Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. Don't be shocked at that at all.
Yeah.
The Texans are not a good football team. I want to say that they're not a good football team.
They're a young football team.
They're young, yes, but they're not good. How many times have we said that we've had a young football team?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but Davis Mills didn't look bad last year.
No, he didn't, and it was kind of a surprising thing. He didn't look bad at all. I just still don't.
Here's the thing that concerns me. Dameon Pierce has done nothing but show out during camp. Obviously, it's camp. It'd be completely different once the season starts.
Yeah.
So they would have a good, reliable running back. Brandon Cooks is a solid starter.
Very good.
He's number one, no matter where he goes.
The fact that he's been traded away so much is very surprising to me.
Yeah.
Because he is that guy.
I agree. And on top of that, they have Nico Collins. Again, he's got nothing but rave reviews in his second year.
Yeah.
So they have a decent team there. Do I think they're going to win 10 games? Hell no. But do I think they could surprise us? I mean, it's a rusty Deshaun Watson playing in his first NFL game in almost 2 years. It could very well go either way. But
yes, I agree with you.
I still chalk it up as a win.
I agree, and there's going to be a lot of emotion in that game because not only is it Watson's first game since 2020, but it is against his former team that he requested a trade from. Let's not act like that the Texans were like, we're done with you. He requested a trade first before any of these accusations came out. There's going to be a lot of emotion in that game.
Absolutely.
A lot of emotion. So I agree. This could go either way. I'm going to go ahead and give us a dub on that one. Make it what, 7-5?
7-5.
7-5. Moving on to Browns at Bengals. Give us a dub there. Fuck the Bengals.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think we sweep the Bengals again this year.
Okay. You don't think so?
I think no. Even though we have Watson, I think if we'll still won from them. So I'm going to give us a loss to say 7.
Okay.
Then we play the Ravens at home with Watson in his first home game in Cleveland. I'm going to say we split with the Ravens as well. So I say give us 8-5.
I will agree. Yeah, I will agree with that. I think that Ravens game is a win. And also, to go back to the Bengals and Browns game, that second game, that is one of those games that could go either way as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have a little confidence. I feel like we'll be able to win that game.
Right.
But going into Deshaun Watson's second and final home game of the season, assuming the Browns don't make the playoffs, we'll see. I don't even want to talk about that because I got myself in trouble last year, and I won't say. I am not going to say
more trouble this year.
Exactly, which is why I'm going to keep my mouth shut about that one. Said it is Saints at Browns. I'll go ahead and count that up as a win. That's a good Saints team. It's just that's not a prime Drew Brees led Saints team.
Yeah, and I also think it's gonna be a very emotional return for Jarvis. But at the same time, like it seems like he's very bitter about the way he left.
He's very, very bitter about that because he has not given us a goodbye or anything.
No.
Baker gave us a fucking goodbye before he was even traded.
Right.
Like Jarvis, he deleted everything Browns related on his Instagram.
Yep.
And that was it. And Jarvis Landry was beloved by Browns fans and is still loved in this city.
Always will be.
Yes. So it's a little shocking that at least the fans didn't get something from him.
Right.
You don't have to, but it would have been nice to have something. But that's a Christmas Eve game. I do think the Browns will win that game. That brings us to January 1st. Browns at the shit stadium in Washington.
Blue River.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and say Browns win that game as well.
They're not a good football team. Carson Wentz is not it. He's not that guy.
No, he's not. So what's that bring us to record wise?
10-5.
10-5. Okay. No, it can't be. It's either got to be
10-6.
Okay, there we go. 10-6.
6 losses.
And then last game of the year, January 8th, Browns at Steelers.
11-6. I don't want to talk about that team. Fuck Steelers. Oh
man. He just came out there and said it.
Fuck the Steelers, always.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. So so you're saying 11-6. I'm saying 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
That's assuming everything goes right, though, because you know as well as I do, the injuries happen. We've already experienced it.
Yeah. So,
guys, this is for us. This is a best win or the best case scenario for this season that we go 11-6, 12-5. I still don't like those numbers. I wish we had 16 games, not 17. I don't like a 17 game schedule. I don't like it at all.
I don't like uneven games.
Neither do I. That's really OCD. So saying 12-5 does not sound good. 12-4 is good, or 11-5. Yeah.
Right.
But guys, I think that's gonna do it for today. I think we had a good discussion about everything. We're gonna see you next week. I don't know if it's gonna be on Wednesday or Thursday next week. We're trying to figure out a couple of things. We can't do Thursdays during the season because of Thursday night football, and it's hard to do it earlier in the day because we both have shit going on. And exactly. And first and foremost, before anything, we are family men before we are co-hosts of Load the Box Browns.
And even before that, we are farmers. Bum. So
on that note, guys, thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you, Angie, for keeping chat alive tonight. We appreciate that wholeheartedly. Guys, this has been a fun show. It's been an informative show. Not a show we always like talking about, but it is what it is. Like I said, the Haslam's got to stand there and take the heat, and we're gonna bring it to you. So we'll talk about the hard shit. With that being said, my name's Chris Baxitas. That's Eric Mienko. And we'll see you next week. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Hoo, hoo.